Blitzers, it's Ronan. Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the T26E3 Eagle 7 today. The tank was available in stores a while back. I think a few people bought it. I know Arthur enjoyed it. And then it was up again for the Christmas event, and you could purchase it with a globe, or instead of a globe, for 80 of whatever the hell they were. And even if yourselves, like if you're like me, you got the globe, I still had some leftover wins and was able to get the tank for 3,000 gold, or a little bit under that. Which is not a bad deal. So I want to do a quick review and see if you guys can do it. And we got our first game here by Oops, who played the tank for the first time and had a mastery class good game here, and then a game by myself, and I'll review the tank in between. Overall, I don't know what the hell this tank is. I mean, that's kind of why the name of the review. It is a crossover between, I guess, a T26E4, which is a premium tier 8 tank. It's got a lot of similarities to it. It's actually got basically the cannon of a Drak, and it does have -10 gun depression, but the tank is slow. It's nothing like a Drak in terms of play style, because a Drak has no armor. It does have some weirdly spaced armor, but well, this tank does have a good turret, and I'm going to talk a lot about the turret in the cannon itself, because I think that's what I bought this thinking to myself as Oops unfortunately whiffs that shot. I bought this thinking to myself that this is the hull down medium of tier 7, and I guess it is in some ways, but as I think you're going to see, is it's not truly that. It's just kind of a ordinary average little tank. If you're confused, because if you like the T26E3 and you're thinking, hey, this is a T26E3 with a turret, you're sadly mistaken. Don't buy it for that. You still have a couple of days to buy it, so take a look. Now, jumping into the battle, Oops has himself in Black Goldville, and he is facing a Annihilator and a very strong TD these days, the Jagdpanzer. And his heavies, as you can look at the mini-map, and as we saw earlier, went to the C cap. Unfortunately, they should not be doing that. And split the team completely. His team is just split in half. You got 2 heavies at C, 1 at Moron at B, and then 3 at A. So there is a gun advantage at A, which Oops is capitalized on. They clear the Jagdpanzer, and now they have this Annihilator. Now this Annihilator should have torn this tank apart, the Eagle, but it did not. Left him alive and kind of started running away. There's a lot of bad players out there in Annihilators. Don't fear that. That's kind of the tricky part of that tank, is sometimes you get annihilated, other times you don't. Like this guy just shanked 3 shots. And you see Oops getting aggressive here with this tank. I will say one thing you should note is that the tank does have the super speed boost, as we call the crack speed boost. And that does make an advantage. And you'll see in the second game, which is by me, that I actually survived because of that. But now where we are in the game, it's 4-on-4. The good guys have A and B capped in gaining a good, nice little cap lead here, already about a 200-point cap lead. However, as expected, the heavies are going to die a painful death, because they went to the wrong spot, and then they actually already did die. And then, to make things a little bit more complicated, the Bulldog that was roaming around B, and he capped B, of course, died. So it went from like a 5-on-4 to very, very quickly a 3-on-4 here, with still a good, healthy margin. Now, the AT7 cleared their T26 Eagle 7, and now we're 3-on-3 again at about nearly 300 point cap advantage. Now, this guy in the Steve pushes to try to cap B, which was a really, really dumb move, and you see he's having a heck of a time penning the Eagle 7, and Oops just tears him apart. There's another bounce. Steve does have the autoloader and also has no turret in armor, so the Eagle 7 easily makes worth that. The pen on the tank's okay. Very, very just okay. Kind of like the rest of the tank, to be honest. Nice shot by Oops into the Tiger P there, using the premium ammo. It's not APCR, it's just premium AP. Another hit there, I think by the AT into the Tiger P, and Oops just holds on to this one after a pretty drawn-on, just conservative battle there. He did block 2,300, and another example there, and then takes a nice shot into the Tiger. Does get a 2,800 damage and MC1, which is a little surprising. I thought that would have been a mastery, but a nice game. Okay, looking at the Eagle 7, comparing it to other tanks, what you see with the tank is that it's a lot like really like the Drak in terms of its firepower, and the DPM pen values are similar, and the alpha is as well. I threw on here the T34-1, which is an unbelievably great medium in the tier, probably the best. and you can just see some of the differences there. But again, very similar to the Drac. The pen is lower than the Drac's Pramo at 202, but the alpha is the same. Both are significantly worse than the T34-1. On the HE side, again, worse than the T34E1, which is a tech tree tank. So you'd think the premium tank would be better, but it is not. And then overall, you look at the aim time and other data for the tank, you can see that it's slightly better than the Drac. Obviously, this tank is nothing like the Drac in terms of speed, and you'll see that too. But it does have -10 gun depression and elevation, and the speed is 40-21, but the power to weight is not pathetic, it's pretty bad. It's around 18, and effective is even lower. And compare that to the Drac at 40 or the T34-1 at 18, it's kind of bad. Hit points lower than the Drac by 50 and a little bit higher than the T34-1. You can see on the armor side, this thing does have some armor advantages on overall, but it's I think that's a little bit misleading over, when you look at it. Now, looking at the tank and the armor profile, the turret is the story here. The problem that I'm concerned about, and playing a couple of games with this, it'll take more. Around the turret, where the areas I'm pressing right now, you see the effective thickness is around 190. Depends on where you are. There are a lot of spots. And I think that's what you're going to get. You're going to get some bounces with the tank. The hatch is around 150. You're going to get bounces. Obviously, this gun mantlet's huge, and that is your real advantage here. And we mentioned -10 gun depression. I think a key thing for here would potentially be to do a little bit of wiggle, but that's about all you can do. But it is a good turret. Just I think the areas immediately around it is very pennable with accurate cannons using Pramo. The upper plate's 144. That's okay. 136 lower plate. That's not going to get you many bounces. I mean, that will be difficult to bounce. The side of the turret is also 78 millimeters. Nothing there. I think if you angle this thing, for example, you're going to go haul down and angle it. Even there, the turret values remain the same. You just need to catch shots essentially with your turret. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, is this a T26E4? And here it is. Here's a T26E4. So the T26E4, it's well known that you can pen the hatch, although it's not, and it's a tier 8, keep that in mind. But, the rest of the T26E4 are just little tiny spots that realistically, you got to be right up in its face. And even when you are, they're hard to pen because you have this giant gun mantlet and you're surrounded essentially by this spaced armor that it goes everywhere and blocks all these kinds of shots. All right, let's take a look at their second game. Now, this is me. This is Ronan playing the tank for the first time myself just today with Renee. And this is a game we should have lost. Another supremacy, definitely not a mastery, supremacy match. And I didn't do a lot of damage in this game, but I did utilize the tank, and particularly some of its components that will help you decide whether you should shell out the gold for it. First thing first, I looked at the team when we went. Renee went to the dreaded decap if you're a medium. And I wanted you to look right there before I talk more about it. Look at the Eagle you're shooting against. See, the problem with the tank is you can pen it almost anywhere with an Eagle, including the turret. That's the thing with this tank. I don't think this is the haul-down tank that it's advertised because the turret armor really isn't quite as good. And you see me, I just get the tar beaten out of me by the opposing T26 Eagle, and I really couldn't get into a rhythm here until more or less the end. But the tank does have good armor in parts, and I was able just to get some sneaky shots here and really just frustrate their ISU and get him out of the playing field. I also was able to, by playing this way, and I don't recommend you ever cross the middle as I did here, except for when you know where all the enemy's tanks are. And of course, Renee, who I couldn't really help in this one, was in the middle right there, and you can see he is struggling to really get anything to happen here. And our team was we had 3 mediums at A the call was kind of D and they went to A. But I knew that they were going to distract this ISU and give me a chance for some free shots. I thought I could do more to the ISU. I did track him there. I was trying to capture base C here. What was really dumb here, and I think it's a good thing to think about if you're in the mediums, the mediums here, I couldn't HE him in the back. Our medium just stood in front of them and let the ISU shoot them versus just letting me kill him, which was just really unfortunate. Now, we got ourselves a 4-on-4. Unfortunately, Renee was there in the middle. There comes an Emil, and you can see I switched to Pramo there and can do nothing to him. And I couldn't get C-capped. In hindsight, watching the game again, I would have stayed further behind and capped C while shooting that ISU would have helped us out. Still 4-on-4. They have a better tank collection, and I pushed up here to get a shot. And that Eagle 7 on the enemy team was just honestly either YOLOing me or just being a really good job. Every time I'd go, I felt the guy was shooting me. I'm very low on hit points here, 291. It is a 4-on-3 now, and we have a pretty good point lead. However, if you look at the type, if their tanks, their Eagle 7 is nearly full health. I do not get a shot in there. He was above me and I couldn't get its upper plate. He shoots me yet again. I think that guy did like all my damage. But their meal is lower. It finally bled pretty well. We got lucky that he pushed as hard as he did. And I shot him here and someone else did the same, the T26E3, and we were able to clear him. They're now left with an Annihilator and the other Eagle 7. As you can see, I have no hit points and 2 idiot teammates. The Panther dies. I think that's what he was really good at. And I did get a really sneaky shot right there that was just pure RNGesus on the whatever of the Annihilator. And I think that, you know, shots like that are welcome, but I certainly wouldn't count them. The Panther's sitting there at sea, tries to cap it, and of course the Annihilator clears him as you show your entire side to an Annihilator. What I quickly realized here is I'm in a nest of morons, and I knew that T26E3 wasn't going to help much. Actually, the Panther was still alive. Well, he's about to die. There he goes. And that was a T49. Actually, I didn't even know where that T49 was. I didn't see him the entire match. I'm not sure exactly what he did. Now, so those two died. It was a 4-on-2. Now, the T26E3 just decides to shove it and push it against the Eagle 7 and the Annihilator. Well, that's a really, really bad idea. And we have, again, like nearly a 300-point cap lead. Now, their Eagle 7 finally doesn't pen me, and I was able to distract him. But I realized here very quickly that I just got to get the hell out of Dodge and try to win this by points. The T26E3 quickly dies. And I am now sitting here. I know their Eagle 7 is coming after me. He's got 267 hit points. I can't clear him with one shot. So it's time to get lucky. I did want to get a shot there, and luckily he was driving fast, and I did get a bounce, and I pinned him. Now, I made a mistake here of not switching to Pramo. That shot just missed. So you can see that you are going to get bounces with this tank, and I did want to get that. And you can see it's very hard to shoot the Mantley, but the upper plate is nothing versus when I switched to Pramo. I did turn on the speed boost, reversed my way out of there. Their Annihilator, I don't know what the heck he was thinking. He disappeared. Maybe he was trying to flank me, and we win by points. So kind of a sneaky little win there. I don't credit the tank much for this, frankly. Just credit some luck and everything else. It was an MC2. I capped some bases or whatever. Renee and I did we could. He was in this Black Prince. Overall, I'd say 3,000 gold. If you like this type of tank, get it. I certainly wouldn't. I think there are better tanks to be had, especially the T34-1 is just a superior tank, and a tech tree tank as well. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel.